Right now these guys are stitching the planks of the boat together, because this is a stitch and glue boat, and basically building the lap strake hull, or temporarily fastening it together so that we can then epoxy it, after which we'll be able to pull the wires out. So ultimately, there are no mechanical fasteners in this boat at all. It's an epoxy glued boat, but this is putting in 300 temporary little clamps to hold it together while we glue it. I'm Geoff Kerr. I am a full-time boat builder. My shop is Two Daughters Boat Works, and that is in Westford, Vermont, which is about a half an hour northeast of Burlington up in northern Vermont. It's a one-man solo full-time shop. I build on commission for customers and have, in the 19 years I've been in Vermont, I've sent boats all over North America. I have been a boat builder for 23 years or so, since I started my first boat for myself. And when I finally built that boat I'd been imagining all those years, I realized that boat building was way more interesting than any other career I'd ever had. So I became a boat builder by learning the trade while I built one for myself, and while doing that I hung out in a nonprofit boat shop down in Alexandria, Virginia, picking people's brains and using their equipment in exchange for volunteer labor, which generally consisted of holding the dumb end of a rivet gun or something like that. And developed a relationship with those folks, and coincidentally I needed a job one day and they needed help, and I started working in a boat shop and turned it into my craft and trade. So I worked there about 5 years and then moved to Vermont roughly 19 years ago and opened my own shop, and have been doing that full-time ever since. This week we're doing a build your own Annapolis Wherry class, working with kits from Chesapeake Light Craft down in Annapolis. These boats are ultralight, really attractive sliding seat rowing boats. Because of their design, have a little more seaworthiness and a little more versatility than a racing shell or even a recreational shell. They actually look like real boats. But they're sliding seat rowing boats, and it's a pretty intense, very busy class, but it's well worth the trouble for everybody because they're magnificent boats when the finished product hits the water. I started subscribing to WoodenBoat magazine long about issue 20 or so when I was a baby Coast Guard officer living on a ship in New London, Connecticut, and had been aware of the magazine and aware of the school for years and years and years before I ever even started building a boat for myself. It's certainly what prompted me, and actually the first boat I built was prompted by seeing the design reviewed in WoodenBoat magazine years and years ago. So coming to the school had always been something kind of on my bucket list, but in the heat of battle and learning a new trade and opening a shop and having young kids at home or something, I had never made it here. And by virtue of the Wooden Boat Builder Network, I actually got a phone call from Rich once, years and years ago, and asking me if I would consider teaching a class here, specifically building kayaks from Chesapeake Light Craft kits, because I've known those folks really since before the company had a name. And I came over and started teaching kayak classes, and it went well, and it's blossomed and branched out over the years, so I get to do more than kayaks these days.